Good evening. When I was young, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. Each and every morning when I woke up, it was the very first thing on my mind. And each and every evening before going to sleep, it was the very last thing I'd thought about. I must have imagined and envisioned myself up to bat in Game 7 of the World Series, hitting a home run over 100 or even thousands of times. How many of you can relate to having had a similar experience or dream that you believed when you were young was so real that at one point in your life you would become it, achieve it, or attain it? The unfortunate truth for so many, ladies and gentlemen, is those dreams don't become true, not because we don't have the talents, skills, or abilities to make them become true, but more so because we become a part of our environment. We allow the things that we see and hear on a day-to-day basis to affect us and negatively drive us away from, or toward, more so away from, the things that we're truly desiring the most. These images are a collection of photos that I've taken at one point or another in my life and are a representation of many different things. Some pictures are simply of sunrise or sunset. Others are pictures of events I'd partaken in that I was most proud to have accomplished. And others are pictures of my life that while living in it were most challenging, created many obstacles. But through it all, what these pictures represent are two most important things. One, it reminds me of where I've been and where it is I want to go. And second, and most importantly, what these pictures remind me of is how fortunate I am to be alive. How fortunate I am to have the ability to see. I believe too many people take their abilities for granted. And more so than that, they take their eyesight for granted. What is even more disheartening than people who take their sight for granted are those who become blinded in life. Now, I'm not talking about people who literally lose their sight, people who can no longer see. I'm talking about people who give up on their hopes, who give up on their dreams, who lose their vision because they've allowed the negative sights, the negative things, the negative experiences, the negative encounters to drive them away from the success they're capable of. You see, each and every time you and I see something, whether it be for the first or 100th time, we have a choice in how we're going to interpret that image, how we're going to allow it to affect us. And I've become fascinated in my life in trying to understand what makes people tick. How do some people who grow up in the most negative of surroundings, surrounded by the most negative of sights, around the most negative of people, yet they go out and create massive success in their lives? And then you have people who have it all. They're surrounded by the most positive sights, the most positive people. And yet they end up in and out of rehabilitation centers or jail or places that they would have never otherwise imagined having been. And to help in my fascination and to find out what it is that makes people tick, about 8 months ago, I started out in a journey of writing my own book. And the basis of the content for which the book is going to be written is based upon 5 questions I ask everyday people like you and I. And a response I'd received from one of my friends based on the first question I asked, which was as follows: what is a sight that you have seen or continually see that allows you to, upon seeing it, puts you in a positive state of being, re-energizes you, motivates you, inspires you, encourages you? And that friend of mine I'd referenced, his name is John, and he spent a year on a tour in Afghanistan. And he replied to me in saying, "Adam, a sight that I often think about is while on patrol in Afghanistan, I would see the young children run up to me laughing and smiling, filled with so much joy." And he said, every time I would think about that, or every time I do think about that, makes me feel good, puts me in a positive state of being, and reinforces what I want to do. And I said, "Wow, John, that's great." I said, "Many others have told me that children laughter and children smiling puts them in a positive state of being." He said, No. You're not getting it, Adam." He said these children were laughing and smiling, and they hadn't eaten in 4 or 5 days. These children were smiling, and they had no clothes on their back. These children were smiling as they hobbled around on one leg because the other had been blown off by a landmine just days or weeks prior. These children were smiling at him because they chose to smile. Wow. Wow. Because they chose. Each and every one of us in this room, blessed with the ability to see, has the capacity to choose how you're going to respond to your environment, how you're going to respond to your job, how you're going to respond to school, work, life, whatever it is. Choose wisely and choose positively. Our sounds, the things of which we're surrounded, that make noise, that we hear, do too affect our ability to succeed at the level we're truly capable of succeeding. And when you think about sounds, you might be thinking about that annoying alarm clock in the morning, the or gunshots, explosions, sirens, screaming, laughter. Whatever the sound it is, I want you to hang on to that, but I don't want you to discount the sounds that you hear on a day-to-day basis through communication. Because words are just words, after all, but when verbalized, they create a vibration of sound that have the capacity to uplift, inspire, encourage, and empower, or do the complete opposite and discourage, disempower, belittle. Think about I love you versus I hate you. When verbalized, although there's only one changed word in that phrase, somebody could go around for the remainder of their lives, if being told I hate you, thinking they're unworthy, incapable, going around insecure. And that's what you'll see on the left-hand side of this slide are phrases like you can't win, you'll never make it, you don't have the talent, skills, or abilities to make it work. And what happens, ladies and gentlemen, what happened to me, why I didn't continue with my wanting to pursue the major leagues is because I took ownership of those things people had told me. I allowed others, the sounds that I'd heard, to drive me away from the success that I wanted, away from the dream that I desired. When we take ownership of those things that people say to us, or ownership of other sounds that you might have heard that upon hearing were once negative, you begin to think things like on the right side of this slide. Things like, I can't make it. I'm not good enough. I don't have the talents. I don't have the skills. I don't have the resources. I want to be like him or her. I'm not good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, you are good enough. Just because somebody tells you you're not capable does not mean that you need to take ownership of that. Does not mean that you need to feel sorry for yourself. It means that you need to find a way to shift that negative to a positive, to make a change in your life so you can affect other people's lives. So what do the things we see and the things we hear have to do with our ability to succeed? Well, before moving forward, I want you to think about success for the remainder of this speech simply as your dream. Because I recognize you and I measure success differently. And that's totally fine. While I might view being successful as being able to help 1 million people, and you might view being successful as being able to make $1 million, at the end of the day, we all have a dream. And to me, being successful means chasing down your dream until you can chase it no longer. So think about success simply as your dream. And to me, I believe that the things we see and the things we hear and how it is we respond to those things make all the difference in our ability to achieve our dream. Because ultimately, sights and sounds, whether the thing you're seeing, the thing you're hearing, is for the first or 100th time, creates an instant sensation. That instant sensation, your brain asks you then, is this going to bring me pain or is this going to bring me pleasure? And as human beings, no one truly likes to feel pain. But we all want to feel good. We all want to feel good inside. If we allow that pain, though, to occupy our minds, or in other words, if we allow that initial sight or that environment of where we grew up, or those sounds of violence, of gunshots, at war, whatever it may be in your life, if we allow those sounds and sights to take ownership of us, if we allow them to negatively affect us and dwell in that pain, then what we ultimately end up resorting to find pleasure are things that we would have never otherwise imagined or truly wanting to do. Drugs, alcohol, violence, staying in abusive relationships, not stepping out of your comfort zone. Because we're constantly searching for pleasure, people who have so much pain resort to those things that they think are pleasurable. But when you and I both know they're not, it's going to just further bring them a long-term pain. It comes down to a decision of deciding, even if something's bringing you pain, if you look at something for the first time, or if you are in a job that you hate, or you're constantly being told that you can't make it, you'll never amount to anything, turn that pain into a positive, like my friend John was able to do in Afghanistan, like those children were able to do in Afghanistan, and find the pleasure, the positive force that's going to drive you nearer your dreams. Decide today that no one or nothing is going to affect your ability to succeed but you. No one or nothing. You have the choice to see what it is you want to see. Hear what you want to hear, and chase the success that you desire. If you're in an environment that you're constantly feeling negative, you're constantly feeling down and out, have you ever heard the phrase, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change? Change the way you're looking at that job you're in if you hate it so much. Change the way you're looking at that house you're living in if you hate it so much. Where some people have seen obstacles, adversities, others have found and created opportunities. There's nothing preventing you from doing that either. Hear what you want to hear. Take ownership of the sounds that uplift and inspire you. If the news brings you down, quit turning on the news. Too many people complain about what's going on in this world, but they're not willing to take the first step in action and changing yourself so you can change others. Just because somebody says you're no good doesn't mean you need to feel that. That's what I did. Before my dream could even come to fruition or even a little bit come off the ground, I believed because only 1% could play in the major leagues. My teachers, my friends, the news, everyone was telling me that. I heard what they wanted me to hear. I heard the negativity when I should have found a positive to reinforce me, to guide me toward the success I desired. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, chase the dreams that you want to chase. I made a decision in my life that I will never again allow anyone to impact or influence what it is that I want to do. Because guess why? Nobody knows me like I know me. And nobody knows you like you know you. If you want to do something that seems so outrageous and ludicrous to your parents, to your spouses, to your friends, to your siblings, if they don't like it, that's fine. I'm going to ask somebody else for advice. I'm going to ask somebody else for opinion. I don't need your guidance or support to pursue the things that I know are going to make me happy. So today I leave you with this phrase. But more importantly than anything, you need to know that you are equipped with the skills. You are equipped with the talents. You are equipped with the abilities to do what you want to do. And I know you're thinking this is some crazy motivational speaker guy who he always does this. He always does this. True, but I mean it when I say it. Because we are equipped. Nothing makes you different than the person sitting next to you except this right here and how it is you decide to respond to the things you see, the things you hear, and how it impacts you each and every day. Go after your dreams. Chase what it is you want to do, and whatever, at the end of the day, whatever happens, choose to see the things in your life and and hear the things in your life as a positive instead of a negative. Thank you.